What's up, guys? So here I have a couple replays for you guys, like I said I would. Sorry I didn't get them earlier in the weekend, but you know, I was at New York Comic Con, so I've had a pretty busy weekend. But here I have 3 replays using the same team that I showed you in my last video, with some minor exception. In this first game, instead of Deancy, I used to have Mega Steelix. If I didn't, or I used to have regular Steelix rather. If I didn't say that in the first video, but you know, Steelix had sort of the same function. I originally had this as a special Steelix, which is not a really good Steelix in my opinion. Not something I enjoyed using. But he did have Roar. And so Roar was great because I can roar things out that might potentially be a threat for Meloetta in the end game. You know, let them take hazard damage, but as you'll see, you know, I use it to great effect in this game. But you know, looking at my opponent's team, he's got some threats in Delphox, and he's got Virizion and Magneton, all of which can pretty much handle my team fairly well if certain things are dropped. You know, Magneton could have a field day once Steelix is gone, Delphox once a Selgor and Druddigon are gone. Virizion, pretty much once a Selgor is gone, can more or less handle everything depending on what its spread is, but he does have a Defogger, he does have a setup Mon, but I figure, you know, I'm still going to lead off here with, well, I'm going to lead off here with Druddigon because, you know, it's kind of the all-purpose thing, but he leads off with this Uxie, and I kind of assumed he'd get rocks up first, but he goes for a trick, gives me a Choice Scarf, which is fine, because I decide I'm going to lock myself, my decision was I'm going to lock myself into spikes, and then I'm going to do everything I can to not let Flygon defog those spikes away. So thankfully for me, I'm going to get all 3 layers of spikes up as he kills me. And now, you know, I'm going to bring in Rotom. I believe I go for the Leaf. Okay, so I go for the, let me explain why I went for this. I think actually back then I did have Hidden Power Ice. I think that was the play, because now I have Hidden Power Fire. If I had Hidden Power Ice, obviously I respects, I'm timid, not modest. I would have O-code Flygon, or I would have done enough to Flygon that if he wasn't a speed nature, I would outspeed him again and kill him. But my opponent's going to go for Trick again, so this sort of frees me up to switch moves, but I decide if he's still going to go on Flygon, I can still 2-hit KO it, just won't be as powerful. Unfortunately, he's going to crit me here with this Psyshock, which is just a nuisance for me, so I decide, you know, just going to go into Meloetta now, better safe than sorry, as he's running this Specs thing. Go for Relic Song, and now he chooses to go into Flygon for precisely the reason of thinking that I'm not, you know, this pirouette form, and he gets completely blasted by Close Combat, which is great, because now, you know, you see his team, everything is grounded on his team. You know, he's got Magneton, he's got Delphox, which, you know, Delphox already took 25% just from 3 layers of spikes. I mean, Uxie's not grounded, but Uxie's not really a big deal at this point because it is Specs. And I mean, I can manage it, you know, it's not really something I'm worried about, but he does bring in this Delphox, and the way he brings it in tells me that he's Scarfed, so I'm going to switch out, go into Rotom as a Sack, as he decides to go for a Psychic, kind of proving that he is Scarfed. So here I'm going to bring in Druddigon. I know Druddigon can take anything, I don't know, barring HP Ice, does the team carry HP Ice? But I go for Suck Punch, just trying to see if he'd stay in and switch into Uxie. And now the Uxie, well, first off it goes for T-Wave, which is kind of expected. And I think next turn he's going to switch into Delphox again, or he switches into Venusaur here, and I think I just Roar after Stealth Rocking. And Venusaur is kind of an issue to this team per se. Meloetta 2-hit KOs it if it's defensive, but look at this. So I roar him right into Delphox, which is perfect for me. Now, knowing he's going to go for the Fire move, I'm going to make a risky play in my opinion, going to Qwilfish. Because Qwilfish doesn't really appreciate this Fire Blast, but he didn't do enough where he can 2-hit KO me, and if he predicted well, he could have gotten rid of this thing immediately. But he's going to bring in Venusaur here as I Scald, and next turn I'm going to choose to go for the Toxic Spikes, because I figure this is the only real thing he has to handle Qwilfish, unless he wants to go unless he wants to go right back out into Delphox, and Delphox can't take another hit. Uxie is still Specs, and he can't really spam Psyshock yet. If he wants to trick me, that's fine, but he's going to take my Black Sludge. So, you know, I figure this is the time I can go for Toxic Spikes. If I get a chance in the near future to kill Venusaur, it's great, because then, you know, everything remains toxic down his field. But in comes Druddigon, and Sheer Force Life Orb Druddigon is just, it's great. Unfortunately, you know, I've removed Steelix from this team, and as you're going to see in a couple turns, Steelix's Roar, you know, being able to phase out once you have all these layers of hazards up is absolutely great. And part of me kind of wants to put Dragon Tail on Druddigon, but I do enjoy having Outrage. It's just great stat power. Anyways, this is the turn where he's going to trick me his Specs, and I'm just going to Roar. And I'm not even going to, like, you know, play out these turns. I'm going to roar him into Verzion. Verzion's not going to kill. He's going to get roared right back into Uxie again, not going to die. Gets roared into Verzion again. Verzion takes all that damage, and now I'm able to kill Verzion with a Sucker Punch. Delphox actually switched in at some point and died immediately to hazards. You see Venusaur here. He's going to Synthesis. It's not going to stop him from dropping a Fire Punch here. And now all he's got left is Uxie, and he's got Magnezone, and neither one of these can really do anything at this point. Magnezone, unless it's Scarfed, will not outspeed Meloetta, and I could even close combat just in the same form that I am. So, you know, that's pretty much going to be the end of the game here. I go for Sucker Punch, kind of hoping that I'd kill, but alas, I don't. But doesn't matter here, because he's going to kill me, and then Meloetta's just going to come in, and I can just close combat in regular form. So that was the first game. You know, since then the team's been revamped. You know, I have Diancie instead, but I'm still really considering putting Dragon Tail just because it's a great phasing move out. I might just have to switch up the set though, and you know, the power of Outrage plus, you know, Sheer Force on Gunk Shot and Fire Punch is too much. But got this next game here, now pretty much with the iteration of the team that you've seen so far. Again, my team has no, my opponent's team has no Spinner, he has no Defogger, he's got no Magic Bouncer at all. Just looking at his team, Electros is probably the most annoying thing because it's not grounded, so it won't take spikes. If it's Assault Vested, it can handle pretty much all of my mons, to be honest. Chinchino is obviously going to be a threat just because it naturally outspeeds pretty much everything on my team except for Selgor, and a Selgor is meant to be a suicide lead. It's not meant to take hits or whatever. And then, you know, he's got Specs over here, or X-Blow could be Scarfed. This thing could be Scarfed as well. So he's got, you know, tons of different problems on his team. But here I'm going to choose to lead off with a Selgor as my opponent leads off with Chinchino, and immediately I'm going to have to switch out here because I could get one layer of spikes up, but I want to get as many layers of spikes up as I can. And the Chinchino actually proves to be a huge problem throughout the entire game. Just because I never have a time where I can go and switch Meloetta's form and then actually stay in that form as long as possible. But, you know, I figure Toxic Spike's always going to help. You know, if the only thing that's not grounded is this, it's not a big deal. He shows me that he's physical with Wild Charge, and that does a really big chunk to Diancie, even knowing Diancie's defenses. But I'm going to get my Stealth Rocks here as he's Drain Punch, so, you know, it kind of confirms to me that he is he's running an Assault Vested set, but he's like a fully offensive set. Going to Druddigon here, and I believe I missed my Gunk Shot here. And it's sort of the only problem I have with Druddigon is that if you don't run Gunk Shot, you kind of have to run Earthquake, and Earthquake's not really a good coverage move on Druddigon when you have you know, when you just have a Stab Outrage or when you have Fire Punch, you know, yeah. And you kind of need Gunk Shots just for like fairy types. Like if Aromatisse or Granbull come in, even Granbull at a -1 is still going to die from a Sheer Force Life Orb. So I kind of went that's my neutral play. I didn't want to Outrage so early in the game just because I didn't want to lose Druddigon. But, you know, unfortunate. Anyways, he details me out into this thing. I decided to switch out because it's not early enough to try and sweep as you know, he's pretty much just showing me his entire moveset here. Excuse me, I don't mean to be yawning so much. Anyways, I'm gonna go for Scald. I'm gonna get the burn, which is kind of nice just because he's AV. And that wild charge obviously would have killed me there. But I think I'm gonna switch out here. Or you switched out? Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen these. But he's gonna switch out. I'm gonna go for another Scald. I'm definitely gonna switch out here though, right? Because you know, Specs Boom Burst is coming, or I just choose to get as much damage off as I can. Not really a bad play either way. I could have went into Diancie. Diancie wouldn't have been a bad play. But now here's an interesting turn. So I know without a doubt he can't kill me at one move because I'm focus hashed. He's gonna die from poison 2 turns. I decide to get my first layer spikes up. Now after this, he's gonna go for Boom Burst. And instead of going for my second layer of spikes, I actually choose to kill him off first. And the reason is, I can kill this thing off, still have a Selgor, depending on what he wants to bring in. I can get up a second layer of spikes, or no, I can possibly save this thing. I choose here to get up a second layer of spikes, as he kills me off using his Electros. Not really that big deal for me, but you know, I still have this Drudagon here, and right now is where I need to start making some plays, because he still has Chinchino, it still outspeeds everything. He still has Bayonet, and I know that this is Mega Bayonet, and I know this is going to be an issue. So what I do is, I go for Outrage, kill him, so I can force in his Diancie. And by forcing in his Diancie, I can bring in my Rotom. I can Leaf Storm anything that's still left, which is Clawitzer, Bayonet, and Chinchino. None of these are going to want to take any sort of hits here. And then what I was hoping is he wouldn't be King's Rock on Chinchino. So I could switch into Diancie, take some hits, and possibly kill. If I don't kill with Diamond Storm, depending on what I don't survive, then I can just go back, bring in Rotom, and then go for a Thunderbolt. This is my entire plan, and I'm saying this because it all pretty much relies on this one turn here. So he's going to bring in Diancie. I'm just going to speed things up. Diancie's going to kill me with Moonblast. Then I'm going to bring in Rotom. I'm going to kill Bayonet, which is great. But then he's going to bring Chinchino. I can't take Tail Whips. I can't take Bullet Seeds, which is unfortunate. And now here, I'm really in a bind. So either he's banded or not banded, but either he's Expert Belt or he's King's Rock. And he ends up showing me that he is King's Rock, flinches me here. And from my point of view, I've kind of just lost the game here. But my opponent goes for knockoff, I guess expecting me to bring in Meloetta here. He could have just... he only had 2 moves to play. He could either go for U-turn, which I'm expecting he has, or he can go for knockoff. I completely understand knockoff play. However, here's the turn where my opponent actually should have made the tail slap play, and he makes the wrong play, goes for knockoff. Unfortunately, he doesn't kill me, and I'm able to kill him off with a Relic Song. And actually, you know, the rest is history, because Diancie's going to come in on all those hazards. I can kill it even from half with close combat, and Clawitzer is not going to appreciate the close combat either. So that's pretty much game 2. You know, my opponent had a really annoying team just because he had a couple things that had absolute power on it. Electros was kind of an issue, but that Chinchino, man, he really messed up with Chinchino at the end. So this is the last game. Actually pretty recent, but I still don't remember it all that well. Just getting right into it. I'm gonna lead off with Rotom here, go for Volt Switch. I know he has a Spinner and Blastoise, so I didn't want to lead off with a Selgor Diancie, but bring Qwilfish here as he goes for a knockoff, which is good play on his part, good neutral play. Now he's going to bring in the Mesprit as, I believe I go for Scald or Poison Jab. Mesprit, I didn't actually expect it to be a support Mesprit, but turns out he does just go for the T-Wave as I taunt him. And I can bring a Drudagon, and this was kind of a risky play, because Mesprits are known to carry like Bolt Beam coverage or something like that, so I really didn't want him to end up having Ice Beam and me not get any damage on Mesprit, because that would actually require me to bring in a Selgor earlier, and I'm not too sure if Bug Buzz would kill Mesprit from above half. But he's gonna go for 2 psychics here, as I'm gonna choose to go for outrage. Actually was hoping outrage would do a lot more, but I guess, you know, I was underestimating Mesprit here. I really don't need Druddigon this game, to be honest, because Meloetta after certain moves kind of just wrecks house. But gonna kill him here with Bug Buzz as he brings in this Blastoise, and I'm gonna switch out, go into my Rotom. I know he has no switch-ins to this except for Venusaur, so he's gonna go into Venusaur here and just take this damage. Judging from that damage, he's offensive, and he later proves that to me right now when he goes for the Sludge Bomb. Shows that he is Life Orb Venusaur, so kind of interesting. You know, he's sort of running bulky Mesprit, bulky offensive Mesprit, and then just like and then, you know, your usual Blastoise or whatever. I'm gonna crit him, really inconsequential, but I decided to get my T-Spikes up just because he needs to bring in Blastoise, or he needs to just switch out of Venusaur to do anything. I knew that I can kill him with the Relic Song, so I decided to go for it here. Unfortunately for him, I dropped Sawk. But I'm in Pure Wet form, and I'm looking at his team, and I'm thinking, okay, I can kill this thing with close combat. I can kill this with close combat. Venusaur will actually still die to a Psychic, even though I've switched forms. The problem is Blastoise. Now, I'm going to kill this Venusaur this turn. If he goes into Blastoise, then I know it's going to take 2 close combats to kill him. And my problem is I don't really want to risk the Scald Burn, or just risk, you know, him getting a crit with Scald or something like that. So actually, this will not be Meloetta's game to shine, but in fact turns out to be Deance's game. So I'm gonna kill him here with the Psychic. He's gonna bring a Blastoise as I switch out. Again, you know, I have Sacks by now, so I'm gonna bring in Rotom as he Scalds. Does in fact get the burn, and once again, you know, my opponent's got nothing for Rotom now that Mesprit is gone. Gonna go for the T-Bolt. Look at that, I didn't even kill him Specs. Which was just unfortunate, but my opponent did make a bad play in my opinion, by staying in and letting his Blastoise take damage, because Blastoise really was the only thing that was kind of handling everything in my team. But here again, this was an awkward play because I could have just brought back in Meloetta. I could have gone for the Relic Song, and then I could have swept from there, and this was me completely not paying attention to the game. I think I was playing a couple other games at the same time as doing this. So I bring in a Selgor here, kill him. Essentially, had I brought in Meloetta there, I could have sped up this entire process, but we're gonna, you know, do whatever, and then Deance's just gonna come in. He can't do anything to Deance. Deance's gonna kill him, and he decides to leave. So essentially, I could have won it with Meloetta earlier in this game, and my lack of attention just, you know, completely screwed that one up. But you know, none of these games were bad games at all in my opinion. You know, in this game, my opponent, you know, he unfortunately fell to the fact that me choosing to lock Steelix into Roar was a lot more beneficial to me than it was for him, despite, you know, him trying to cripple me, because by that point Flygon was gone, my hazards were up, I can just keep switching in everything on his, or I could just keep forcing him to switch on this team. My opponent here completely misplayed with Cinccino in the end. He actually should not have lost that game, but that was his own misplays. And then, you know, just here, I pretty much had this game in the bag once Mesprit and Sawk were gone. It was just me fucking around. Anyways, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. I haven't really decided what my next tier would be. It could be OU, could be NU. I'm not really well versed in OU, so it might be the latter. Yeah, anyways, if you guys enjoy, then please leave a like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.